Yeah, okay, so I was making a video about serendipitously crossing paths with people, and as I was doing it, I ran into someone serendipitously, two people, and then I stopped the video and I started making another one, and I ran to another person serendipitously, and today is like 7 people I ran into serendipitously. And when I'm talking about serendipitously, these are work-related associates, so that I know from different jobs. And in the last week, daily, I had several of these serendipitous meetings. Like I just ran into a guy, I haven't seen him since I was working there like 3 years ago. He was my chief supervisor and chief manager. And I didn't say hello. I got fired from that because this 18-year-old guy, who was the son of he was a nephew of my boss's boss. So he was an 18-year-old snot-nosed punk who was telling me about his Christian holiness. Okay, and this is something actually in our serendipity too. The guy I just talked to, also, he's a holy roller, but he's not really a holy roller. He's like a sinful guy. He lies, cheats, steals. He's a bad character, where I shouldn't associate with him on those grounds. And you have to make some peace with whom you're working with. But I come from some very simplified, rational, material world. This is all like a contrivance of arbitrations that are hidden, esoteric arbitrations, I'll put it that way. We are in a very, there is the mysterious effects, and we have all the mystics giving you some kind of credence as to how knowledgeable they are as to the truth of the real nature of things, but they're deceivers. They really are. They're all kinds of deceivers. The Bible gives us a foundation to stand upon, and that's the rock, and that's what we're supposed, and that's the objective, concrete manifestation of a solidarity in a created world, where there is arbitrations. The arbitrations of the solidarity will undermine your existence. Jesus was actually slain by those forces, and he was consecrated as the anointed. That's what the Messiah means, the anointed. People misinterpret the Trinity, okay, as the anointed in the created world, and the Trinity is actually speaking to truths beyond the creators of this synthetic world's knowledge, the truth of truths beyond the knowledge of the creators of this world. They have formulaic understandings, but there's still the hidden things. And that mystery, that is where there's a lot of disagreement in what is and what isn't. But the serendipity, like I'll give you an example of serendipity, which is quite strange. I want to also talk about a dream strangeness. Many dreams that I've had, but this one in particular I was trying to illustrate the ramifications and the profound ramifications of a created world and strangeness and fantastical things in dreams. Like I met this little goat dude in a dream in a place that turned out to be a real place that I would later visit. And I described this place to somebody who was familiar with it. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I know where that is. That's right where I live." I had never been there. And when I went there, I was describing that this little guy, because there's a junkyard with all like the same model cars, because they're all from the 1920s, and there's only one model, and that's what's in the junkyard, essentially. And there was another model with a slightly modified back end that the trunk was open, and this little goat guy was standing in it. Okay, he was a humanoid with goat legs. I don't think he was wearing pants, but he had a little coat with tails on it, and I think he had a top hat with horns sticking out. I think I don't remember the exact details, but he seemed very real. It seemed very realistic, and the place was very real. It was like the place that I was to find later. And see, when I'm there, I'm describing what it is, and we see one of these cars that's different with the hatch open. I go, "Oh, it's almost like this." It was similar to this. It was this kind of car, but it wasn't exactly like this. It was more open here, and this. He goes, "Oh, there's another one of these," and he brought me over to it, and there it was. That's the one he was standing in the dream. That's proof that there was supernatural reality there. Because, it's like, I said, "Oh, it was like this car, but it was not the right scenario." And he's like, "Oh, there's another car like this here." There was a second car like that, and that was the deja vu experience. The little devil guy said to me, he told me, this is the place where the teenagers go to drink their moonshine, whatever that means. I don't know how to, gather what meaning is that, other than the obvious. But anyway, serendipity would be me crossing paths 30 times or more consecutively. Every time I visited this wooded area where I had gardens planted, I crossed paths with someone I knew from kindergarten, or the kindergarten. Yeah, they knew him since kindergarten. And we just had a falling out. And another serendipitous encounter was this person I had known had ran into him, and he convinced him that I'm a narcissist and bad people. And the guy who did the convincing, he actually told me he was a vampire. And that story is a story in itself too. That involves dreams as well. I'll tell the story this way. So I got a letter from this guy, and it was posted like 5 weeks earlier, but I just received it, and he said, oh, me and so-and-so are coming over tomorrow to visit. I didn't have a phone at the time, and he's coming from New Jersey. I'm living in Massachusetts, and I didn't have any money. I had to do a double shift 2 days in a row, and my apartment was a mess. I didn't have time for guests, and I was tired and poor, so I didn't think it was really a good time to drop on by. And again, the letter was posted 5 weeks earlier. I don't know what the stamp on the envelope was, but my mail was being tampered with. This is strange, it's a strange detail of the story, that all my mail was being tampered with. It should take 2 days to send a mail from, back in that time, from New Jersey to Massachusetts. It takes about 2 days. But my mail was getting longer and longer. It would take a week, it would take 2 weeks, then it would take 3 weeks, then it would take 4 weeks, and this was 5 weeks. That was like the longest it would take. And it wasn't just the one letter taking 5 weeks. All of my mail would be delayed. Like all my personal mail, non-commercial mail. And my packages and stuff would be torn open and taped shut. I'd show my friend, I'd be like, yo, this is how my package is. The ones you're sending me, did you send it to me like this? This is how I received it. It's all ripped open and then taped shut. Badly, crudely. And that's 1995, in 1996 this is going on. But anyway, later I had more details to this, but what had happened was that morning I get woken from my sleep, apparently somewhat like waken, and I see it's my friend's friend, someone I knew from high school, and I see him. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I notice he's floating over my bed, not standing, floating, and I'm like, oh shit, and I cover my head with a blanket. And I'm scared, and I figure I'm dreaming, and he goes, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? And I go, well, I figured to myself, I must be dreaming, and I tell him I'm painting a picture, I'm making something out of clay. I'm kind of like abstractly talking to him, like trying to impress him. He was a very artistic person, a musician. He was like the most popular guy in school, and he was a cool guy. That's what I tell him. And then he goes, oh yeah, you guys can't come today. Why not? And I'm like, oh, it's a place, it's a mess. I got to work. It's not good. And then I think it's silent. I think this is how it went. Then it went like silence. He didn't say anything. And I'm sitting here on my covers for a bit. No one says anything. And I peek out, and nobody's there. And it's like 5:30. I got to be at work at 7. So I'm like, wow, what is going on here? That's a strange dream. I was sitting under my covers, waiting for a response from him, and there's nothing. And I look. And I'm like wide awake, and I'm like, well, that's a strange dream. And I had to do a double shift, so I get to be at work at 7. And about like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a phone call. We work until midnight, and it's him. He calls me. He goes, hey, what's going on? And before I can say anything, I'm thinking about this dream all day long. I'm thinking it's a very real dream. I was thinking about it all day. Before I can say anything, he goes, what are you doing? Before I say anything, he goes, painting a picture, making something out of clay. And then I'm like, yeah, what's up? This is bizarre. I go, you know what the fuck you just said, right? What the fuck's going on? And he goes, oh, nothing. It's just something I figured you'd be doing. But anyway, Anthony can't come up. He had to work. So yeah, he wanted to let you know. And he hangs up on me. So now I'm thinking vampire. And for years I told this story. I didn't realize why it was I thought of vampire. Then it dawned on me, oh yeah, I had another dream where this guy visited me in my dream, and he asked me if I wanted to become a vampire, and I declined. Okay, that's the story. I still remember, a little part of it in detail. So that's why I knew they were vampires, because I had just prior to that dream, I had a dream where he asked me if I wanted to be a vampire. I said no. I don't know within the vicinity of how long before I got the letter, before this, I don't even know. But anyway, I get home and I figure they're telepathic if they're vampires and they can read my mind. I'm just gonna send them a message. I go, look, Anthony, if you're a vampire, let me know. Just write in a letter, and in the side of the margin of the letter, just write rhombus, rhombus, rhombus. And in a notebook, I draw 3 squiggles to remind me of that idea. You don't have to detail anything. Just write that, and I'll know. He does write me a letter, and in the side it does say rhombus, rhombus, rhombus. And he had the little 3 dots and the squiggles that I had in my notebook. Similar, almost the same. Okay, he had his artistic flair to it, and that's what it was. And in the letter, he actually says, I am sorry to inform you, but I have become a creature of the night. Later, when I asked him about that, he said, oh, it was around Halloween, I was just making a joke. But it's really not a jokey thing. But he became like a maligner of my character, a gang stalker, a smear campaigner. So that's part 1 of Serendipities.